It's a new day, and Louise and I are at Mormon Station State Historic Park. We're going to go explore this area, so you get to come with me. Mormon Station was built in 1851 as a trading post along the Carson route of the California Trail. With the discovery of gold in 1848, thousands upon thousands of immigrants started making their way through present-day Nevada along the California Trail. With the last stop for supplies along the California Trail being in Salt Lake City, more than 500 miles away, a trading post was desperately needed to supply travelers before they crossed the Sierra Nevada mountains. A previous Mormon station had been strung together by Abner Blackburn and Hampton Beatty the year before. They constructed, along with 5 other men, a shelter of just 4 log walls during the late spring of 1850. This structure did not have a floor or a roof, as it did not rain that summer. During this time, supplies were sold at high prices, and Beatty accumulated more than 100 horses from the traveling immigrants. Beatty sold the incomplete trading post and traveled back to Salt Lake City in September of 1850. On the trip back, somewhere on the Humboldt River, Beatty's party was attacked by Native Americans, and all horses and supplies were lost. Upon returning to Salt Lake, Beatty took a job at a store owned by John Reese. After hearing about Beatty's western adventure and a possible lucrative business opportunity, John Reese decided to move out to the Carson Valley the following spring of 1851. John Reese arrived in the Carson Valley at the site of Beatty's old trading post on July 4, 1851. He made sure to purchase the site, which now belonged to a Mr. Moore, for a sum reported to be between $15 and $20. The remaining property was secured from Captain Jim of the Washoe tribe for 2 sacks of flour. Reese then fenced and plowed 30 acres for seed and built a combination store and hotel out of logs. Once the hotel and trading post began operation, a blacksmith shop was also built to repair immigrant wagons. Prices at the trading post were high, as the immigrants were so desperate for supplies that they were willing to trade or buy supplies at high prices. As an example, John Reese sold turnips at the unheard-of price for $1 per bunch. As more people began to settle in the area now referred to as Mormon Station, Reese organized a squatters' government that did not follow the same laws as the Utah Territory in which Mormon Station was then located. This prompted the Utah Territorial Legislature to organize Carson County, Utah in 1854. Governor Brigham Young appointed Mormon apostle Orson Hyde to serve as probate judge and spiritual head of the community. Orson Hyde changed the name of the community to Genoa, after Genoa, Italy, and made it the county seat. Mormon pioneers settled in the area until 1857, when Brigham Young called all Mormons back to defend Salt Lake from the advancing U.S. Army. In 1861, Congress created the Territory of Nevada. James Nye assumed his duties as governor and designated Carson City as the capital of the new territory. 3 years later, on October 31, 1864, Nevada became the 36th state in the Union. Because statehood occurred during the Civil War, Nevada became known as the Battle-Born State. As the Comstock silver and gold discoveries continued, Genoa remained an important center of activity for freight and passenger traffic. The route of commerce permanently shifted when the Central Pacific Railroad was built and the county seat was moved from Genoa to Minden in 1916. Today, Genoa offers visitors a quaint small-town experience that includes a rich history, 2 museums, delicious food choices, lodging, gift and antique stores, a variety of recreation opportunities, wildlife viewing, and more. Mormon Station State Park is home to a reconstructed version of the original 1851 Mormon Station trading post that burned down in 1910. John A. Snowshoe Thompson, born in Norway, became one of the great Western legends. Hearing that mail carriers were having difficulty crossing the Sierra in the winter, Thompson relied on his Scandinavian heritage and carved a pair of 10-foot skis from oak timber. His remarkable success crossing the 90 miles between Placerville and Genoa in 3 January days earned him plaudits and a permanent job. Besides delivering the mail, Thompson carried ore samples, medicines, and the territorial enterprise during his journeys across the Sierras. It was said that Thompson could travel through blizzards in the dead of night and never become lost due to his intimate knowledge of the treacherous Sierra. Adding to his legendary stature was his alleged discovery of a fabulous gold vein somewhere in the mountains. The secret died with him in May of 1876. He was 49, a victim of harsh winters and a brutal regimen. As California's population began to boom during the gold rush, so did the demand for a reliable mail service. This demand increased even further at the approach of the Civil War. Alexander Majors, William Waddell, and William Hepburn Russell partnered in 1855 and ran a freighting company with government contracts for delivering army supplies to the West. Russell came up with the idea of a similar contract they could possibly get for a fast mail service. If they utilized a short route with mounted riders instead of stagecoaches, they figured they could establish a mail route from Missouri to California with a delivery time of 10 days. After that, the mail could run by boat to San Francisco. At the time, this was considered an impossible feat. It took Russell, Majors, and Waddell 2 months to organize and put together the Pony Express in the winter of 1860. The operation assembled 120 riders, 400 horses, and several hundred personnel. The mail route was approximately 1,900 miles long, with around 184 stations in between. The stations were set 12 to 25 miles apart. A single rider would ride 75 to 100 miles while changing horses at every station. It took approximately 75 horses to make a one-way trip from Missouri to California. The Pony Express only lasted 19 months. It became obsolete when the transcontinental telegraph reached the West. Courthouse Museum. Okay, Nevada's birthplace, 1851. So they want $5 to go into there, so I'm not going to do it. I don't need to see court history that much. Fire station. Well, that was the perfect thing to do today. I really enjoyed it. I love history so much.